Welcome back. It's still the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television, and we continue with our conversation. We're not done with football, as Jeffrey said earlier, and the chairman of the Nigeria Sports Commission, Mr. Dikko, joins us now on the program. Mr. Dikko, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's my pleasure always.
First of all, congratulations to us. And before we begin to look at the entirety of AFCON itself, is bronze as good as gold for Nigeria? And what's it like in the camp of the Super Eagles?
Well, you know, there was a year, many years ago, where I think it was 2002, where they talk about the golden bronze. So probably we can say the bronze medal is always better than coming second, actually, because at least you are able to finish the tournament on a high and on a successful note, because you have to win a match. You have to defeat like a potential champion for you to win the bronze. So it's also something to be happy about. You can see how the players were happy about it, and I think the whole country were happy about it. So sometimes it feels good, at least after the heartbreak of losing the semi-finals, to play another match, which is called the losers' final, and win the bronze. It shows that your effort were not in vain. At least you have something to hold on to. Hardly anybody celebrate the second, the losers in the final, but the bronze medal is another game altogether. It's another final. So it's, at the end of the day, it's validated that the team did what they have to do, the country did what they have to do, and we finish on a winning note. Because the four teams that were in the semi-finals are all potential champions, and in this case, they are actually the best team in the tournament. So we're happy about it, I think.
Brilliant. That's compensation. But let's go to the finals of yesterday now, and we've had quite a lot to say about it. For some, it's the most chaotic final in any AFCON seen in recent years. And what stands out is the activism that Senegal appears to have demonstrated towards the end of the entire tournament itself, rejecting to train in a particular, venue, and then the activism that they demonstrated on the pitch. What does this say, about African football and going forward? Should this approach be adopted when there are tense, atmospheres like this, just to get justice?
Well, Senegal used Nigeria, like I can say, as a guinea pig, and now we're able to get prepared. For example, the hotel that the team stayed, the Nigerian team were given when we come to play Morocco, which, although it was a hotel that was being given to other teams as a transit hotel, but was not good enough. And in fact, our players actually protested, and something has to be done. Their rooms have to be changed from double room to single rooms and stuff like that. We're able to manage that out to the media. The training ground also, because it's their own training ground. You can't come to play somebody and you go and train in their own training ground. It's the training ground for the Moroccans. So it creates something, a defeated psyche for you to do that. So Senegal noted all that, and now they were able to take the right step to complain to CAF. Though to be fair, I can tell you, even our president of the Nigerian Football Federation raised these issues at the CAF meeting to tell them that, look, it's not nice to do that. It is unfair competition to do that. And so Senegal learned from that, and also at the match, Senegal learned from what happened to Nigeria probably in the last match. The officiating was somehow was not what it's supposed to be. Everybody feel a bit of all the second balls went to Morocco, so Senegal came prepared. But at the end of the day, also the rules are rules. They brought the game to disrepute, and I'm sure they're going to hear from CAF and FIFA for what they did. Football is not played like that. You are not supposed to challenge the referee decision. You are not supposed to do what they did. By the time you delayed the game for 5 minutes, if the referee had wanted to apply the rules the way it is, the game would have been over, because you have only 5 minutes to complain. Once you are not playing out of the pitch for up to 5 minutes, the game could be given against you. But at least at the end of the day, cool heads were able to come to play. They came back to play, and I think justice was served at the end of the day. And but the African football have taken a hit that have actually it was a very, very brilliant competition at the end of the day. But this incident in the final might define this competition in spite of all the investment in the brilliant facilities, the brilliant organization. If you look at all the other matches were good, were okay. The only matches that were having issues were the matches involving the host country. Maybe due to the pressure from the fans, maybe, I don't know what happened, but this is really bad for African football, what happened yesterday, and I hope something has to be done at the end of the day anyway, definitely. But from the host side, the next host should learn from that, and also the referee should learn from going forward that you don't do this kind of things just because you're working against the host. And I must confess, the last tournament in Cote d'Ivoire was very brilliant. People were even saying that the VAR in the Premier League and Europe should come and learn the VAR in the VAR in Africa, because they were spot on. There was nothing like this at the last tournament. Cote d'Ivoire even practically managed by luck to get out of the group stages, to be able to, and now they are able to go and win it by their own work. So I think let's learn, and I'm sure CAF will surely do something about it.
We wait to see what CAF will do, what kind of decision CAF will make about what played out yesterday. But, you know, Mr. Dikko, there are those who don't believe that the NFF stood by the Super Eagles enough. And they were referring to the Senegalese FA. In fact, they were already walking out with the players when the players were protesting. And yes, they referred to the training issues and all the other issues that the Super Eagles faced. And they believe that the NFF could have done more to protect our own Super Eagles. But it looks like this win by the Senegalese players at least gives them some sort of closure. But a lot of people have then said, you know what, maybe we could have gotten a revenge if Nigeria as a country is even able to host an AFCON. Mr. Dikko, why is it that Nigeria is not able to host an AFCON at this point?
Well, we all know the situation of our facilities, and so we are working to fix that. And I can tell you there was a conversation for Nigeria to host the 2028 AFCON, that is for the women. And also, we also had the conversation already. We're having the conversation to see whether we can pitch in for 2031, the AFCON. Before that, it was moved to 4 years. So probably 2032. It's all part of the vision and the objectives. And I'm sure at some point we will do that. By start, I think next year, CAF Congress will be held in Nigeria, I think. So we are all going in that direction. You may recall that we bid for the Commonwealth Games, and we submitted one of the robust and very tidy bid that even the Commonwealth could not just say our bid failed. They only said, at this moment, we want to go to India. Can you continue to have a conversation to come and take 2034? So that conversation is still in play. So we are part of the vision we have for the RINS agenda we are trying to activate is we should be able to host as many international competitions as we can. Though yes, we have hosted so many of this competition for the lower some other sports, but for the big sports like the football, which require a certain number of stadiums and everything, we are working. If you follow what we are doing, we are working to fix. To get our stadiums back on track and get them to work so that we can be able at any moment to host any competition that we can host. But definitely in the near future, we'll be hosting competitions.
And we look forward to it, but as it stands right now, how many football fields in Nigeria or stadia are up to standard? And I'm talking international standard. If you could give us a figure, is it 10? Is it 2?
No, but let me tell you, in Africa, no country has a separate of stadia like Nigeria have at the moment. We have stadia almost everywhere in the country, but the issue now is about fixing them and maintaining them to meet the standards. Abuja and Akwa Ibom are already up to speed. They are the standard. Abuja just need to have a new pitch, which is being put in place. Then, you know, we have Kaduna, we have Ibadan, we have Enugu, we have Lagos, Bauchi, and even the new ones now in Port Harcourt. Now the governor is already rebuilding the Yakubu Gowon Stadium, in Kaduna, Ahmadu Bello Stadium. In Ibadan, we are about to start rebuilding with the state government the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium. Lagos is about to be handed to the private sector. The process is already concluded, so that they can fix it back. You know, Bayelsa are building a new stadium. That is brilliant to do that. So nowhere you go in Africa now you can see the spread of stadia. But the issue now, we have to make sure that not just about fixing them for the moment. They have to be fixed in a sustainable manner, in a sustainable way, that at any point in time will be ready. It's part of the reason why we are playing with the idea to create the National Sports Infrastructure Development or Management Board, which should be like an agency under the Sport Commission that will be just in charge of ensuring that all our stadia are in place. They certify all the stadia. They keep following up, make sure the maintenance is okay and everything is good. So we have to just go back like to ground zero to do that. But recall, Nigeria have hosted several FIFA tournaments before, but the issue is about after the tournament, what next? So we have to put a sustainability plan for all our stadia to make sure that not just fixing them, which we can do because we have they can always be fixed. But after you fix them, what is that? And you can't get them to work the way you want them to work until also we fix our domestic league to ensure that all the stadia are used week in week out to get it done like that. So we are all working on that. And at the end of the day, our vision, we said we want to start to at least we have one stadia on each zone of the country that is good enough to host any competition. Even if you go as far as Taraba, you go to Adamawa, you go to Katsina, they have massive stadia that need just little tune up to be able to comply to the requirements that is needed. So probably when we set up that board, they'll be so busy to make sure that all those stadiums are in play. If you go to Plateau, they have one of the best stadium designs ever. I've been there forever. If we fix it, so we can practically, in a couple of years, if we are able to get it right the way we want to do it, we might end up having 20, 25, 30 stadia across the country that are all in play to host any other competition that is available to host.
Mr. Dikko, let's talk about lessons from both Rabat and Morocco. Two things I would like you to speak to. First, will this be the last time we will hear issues around bonuses being paid or not being paid? I think the simple approach, in my view, if we can get an escrow account where we understand this competition doesn't just happen, they are planned. So if there was an escrow account where some of these monies are paid into so that the bureaucracy that brings some of the embarrassment that we get to feel more like a rite of passage every other time will be sorted out. So talk to us about the plan to make sure that we don't hear anything about bonus issues again, whether it's for the girls or for the guys. Then the second part is there's a lot to learn from Morocco. Grassroots football, with the greatest sense of respect and thank yous to the boys who are doing their bit to put Nigeria in a world map. But the most heroic days of our football, the 1990s and the early 2000s, if you see those guys were picked up from the grassroots, what is happening to grassroots football, which is a guarantee for sustainability?
Well, to start with the bonus issue, I can tell you, it's not an issue of bonus not being paid. It's better we put it in the right context. It's about delayed payment, probably, on the eyes of the players, because the bonus will always be paid. But the players at times are not patient enough to wait for them for the bonus, for the process to be concluded, for them to be paid. Like in this instance, in this tournament, the players knew from day one, even before they start the tournament, the money has been approved and it's being processed, and they were definitely going to be paid. But at some point they were impatient, but not even the player. I didn't see any player coming out to say, oh, we are not being paid, this, that. It's normally the pressure that comes with the family and friends around the players during tournament. Everybody wants to go to the players and collect money and stuff like that. And the players are like, look, we can't bring money from our account to come and be servicing people when we are in camp. These players normally give out this money, most of this money is out when they were in camp. I can tell you most of them. Because the pressure is too much. So yes, as I explained in my last outing, there's already a process that's being put in place, even before the issue that happened in Morocco happened with the delayed, with the complaint over the delayed payments, that the president has approved that once the budget is passed and all the sports money are budgeted, put in the budget, should be put aside and bring out. But that is the first step. Even if you bring this money out, if you don't change the process, because what happened the last time, for example, if you look at it, neither the fault of the NFF, neither the fault of the Commission, neither the fault of the Ministry of Finance or CBN. It's a process. The monies were in the CBN. But if the players insist they have to get dollars, for example, which means the CBN have to do a complicated process of taking the Naira, trying to source the dollars, convert it to Naira, and then trying to also transfer the dollars to the different accounts of the players, some foreign accounts, some domestic accounts. Some will get in time, some will not get in time. So these things that have to be changed for the players, probably they have to understand the timing of the payments. For example, I know some countries only paid bonuses after the tournaments. Hardly any country is paying bonuses as match by match during tournaments. They wait after the tournament, the money is there, they calculate what you have earned, and then you are paid. Some countries even pay annually. when they're closing the books to do that. So we have to sit down at the end of the day to have a conversation with the players to say, look, these monies are here. Yes, they're already warehouse. So how do we now be able to get these monies to you as quickly as possible? Probably they have to agree to be collecting naira, because if these players are being paid in naira, for example, this payment can be done within a few hours, 10 minutes. 1 minute you can transfer naira to account. It's easier. But once dollars are involved, it creates these delays. At the end of the day, the players might complain, which is what happened in this instance to do that. But you know, it's also very, very funny. When you pay the players, nobody talk about it. When there are delays, you can see issues. People come, oh, they are not being paid. They are delayed. This, that. The media also should have to learn from that. We played the match against Morocco. The players did so well. They lost the match. But there was a promise to give them $500,000 if they win the match. I can tell you for free. After the match, we have the cash with us. After the match, Samad called us and said, look, give them the money. I'm happy with the way they play. That money was given to the players instant as they were in the dressing room crying, losing the match. The money was handed over to them in cash. But nobody celebrated that the way it should be celebrated. Even after they defeated Egypt, another sponsor also in the dressing room gave them another $200,000 cash to do that, and nobody was celebrating that. But if there was a delay, it would be an issue that will embarrass everybody as support. Yes, but sure, in the final analysis, the president have done what he has to do to get that the process being approved. So hopefully now between the budget ministry, the finance ministry, the CBN, we'll be able to come up with a system that will ensure that we have a seamless process. That some things will be waived, at least for sports, for being the special nature that it is. I forgot the second question. What are you talking about?
Grassroots football.
Yeah, that is the foundation. But even if you look at this, most of these players that were in this team, a lot of them came through the youth system. You know, people used to question our youth system, our grassroots system. But if you look at almost 80% of these players that were in this team were at one time at the under 20, at the under 17, or even under 23. So they are passed through the middle within Nigerian football. We should give ourselves credit. Hardly any country in the world have this kind of progression from the youth level to that level the way we do, especially in Africa. You know, so we do that. But now we have to create a sustainable system on that, and we are working on that. I had a meeting, I had a conversation with even like Sunday Olise, for example, you know, our time in Morocco. We had a conversation. Yes, we have prepared a very big new process that we think probably we can now put on ground to make it more sustainable, so that we can have this talent mill that will be coming all the time. For the last few years, I think we have lost a couple of talent because of our performance at the youth level. We haven't done so much, especially for the men. So I think those things have to change. And we are working so much, including even trying to bring back the school sports. Like the Sports Commission now have an undertaking. We are working with the Ministry of Education to bring back the school sports the way it should be. And myself and the Minister of Education, Dr. Alausa, are chairing the committee to get that back on track. So that's another process, and then to do that. But I think very soon we are going to unveil the right a new process that will ensure that we have a sustainable process on this and get the youth football and domestic football to go. And it's part of the lesson that we learned in Morocco, for example. Nigeria we are the first country in 2016 to sign an MOU with Morocco. That we can learn what we are doing. I was part of the process then. Myself and Ahmad Jupini went to Morocco, signed an MOU with them to see, let's learn what we are doing. And now from that 2016 to date, which is around where they start, look at where they are. So we know we can do so much by investing also in the community infrastructure. If you check the budget of the Sports Commission this year, you will see that from last year to this year, we have more than 100 community sporting infrastructure that we want to put across the grassroots, which should be like a proof of concept. If we are able to achieve that, we can get the other sponsors, partners, companies, individuals to mimic the same kind of centers and put everywhere. In Morocco, every angle you go, every under the bridge you go, you see a sporting facility there working. So it's part of what we want to also do across here, so that we can have a sustainable system. The talent are just so much, 200 million people plus. So we can do so much if you're able to be focused and intentional about it the way you want to go about it now.
Talk to us a bit more about that sustainability plan for sports infrastructure in the country, because most of the stadia are now more appropriately used for political rallies rather than active sports for, grassroots, sporting events. There are less and less sporting events taking place in Nigerian stadia across the country. For instance, I'm just looking at, a bit of news item about the lack of maintenance in some of the sporting facilities in Lagos. So what partnership does the Commission have with ministries of sports to ensure maintenance in those sports infrastructure across the country, such that they can now be more, deployed for use, and perhaps, Nigeria could host another continental tournament?
Yes. That's why I tell you we are trying to put in the law that we have a national sports infrastructure development and management agency, or board, or whatever you call it. It's an agency that will be in charge to ensuring that all our sporting infrastructures are developed the right way and they are managed the right way. So, for example, you can't just go to London and start building a stadium, or you can't just go to London, even set up a gym. You have to go and take an approval from somewhere to be able to set up just a gym, that this is the minimum requirement, this is the maintenance plan, this is everything that somebody has to approve and follow through to make sure you are doing the right thing. So we have to just do that. But today here, everybody can welcome and start building a sport infrastructure without taking the necessary. It's not just about you to go and get the building approvals. No, you have to also get the approval from the sporting agencies, who now knew clearly what is required, what kind of facility you need to put, what kind of investment you need to do, what kind of maintenance you need to put in play, and what kind of usage you need to do. So that agency will be now in charge. Everybody must come and take approval from their sporting facilities before they can put it together. And their job is not to stop you from doing that. It's to ensure that you build it the right way, meet the minimum requirement of FIFA, CAF, if it is football, or what athletes, or everything like that, to do that, and the quality of materials you are being used. And then you have to also put through a maintenance plan before you get the certification. And then they will keep going back and checking to certify the stadia. If your stadia is falling behind the maintenance plan or whatever it is, then it can be banned from hosting any other event until it is fixed. So no sporting events can happen in that kind of facility until it is fixed. So it put everybody in fix. And then that same agency will work to see how we train people in conjunction with the experts abroad, in conjunction with the National Institute of Sports, and train all the competence we need across the country to be maintaining those stadia. Yeah, so because if we do that, we're also creating jobs across the country. So, Morocco have a central agency, for example, that manage all their football infrastructure. They are the ones that maintain them. Even the community infrastructure, it is that central agency that decide how the maintenance is. And even government contribute funding into that, apart from the money they generate from the private sector to do that. So that's kind of sustainability plan we have to put. Because we can go and build a very gigantic stadium with the stands and everything, but it might not meet the requirement. It might not put the doping room the right way. It might not put the media room the right way. It might not put the VVIP the right way. It might not put the dressing room the right way. But you have a pitch and you have a huge stand of 40, 50,000. That's not what matters at this moment. There are key things that are needed in each stadium, even to put the media, where you put the cameras, where you put the cabling. For example, the whole of Nigeria, only Abuja Stadium is plug and play. That have all the cabling and everything already embedded in the construction. Even the Oyo Stadium that we all like, they failed to do that. If you are going to cover a match in Oyo today, you have to go and create the camera stand, you have to go and lay the cables for the particular match. So all these things need to be eliminated so that we can see the best stadium we had. I had to hold meeting in Morocco with some of the people that built the stadium in Morocco. Because, for example, the stadium they played yesterday was built under 2 years. The stadium Nigeria played the playoff final was built under 8 months. So we have to learn from those issues and see what we are doing. And if you follow what we have been doing, you see we're already taking the right step on that. Last year, I have to go to Europe and bring the best people that are doing San Siro, Real Madrid, Juventus. They are the ones that are doing all those things. So,
Mr. Dikko,
they flew to Abuja here and look at the Abuja Stadium, took the sand, took the water, to Europe for tests so that we can know the kind of grass that we can put in the Abuja Stadium that will be sustainable. So that's the kind of thing we are trying to do to make things sustainable.
So very quickly, what's the timeline of deliverables of this plan that you've talked about, both the sustainability plan and the renovation work to bring the stadia infrastructure in Nigeria up to standard? Give us a timeline.
Well, this year, for sure, we will activate that Sport Infrastructure Management Agency to be activated. If you recall that last year we have a huge budget to fix our sporting infrastructure. Likewise, this year as well, if you look at the budget, the 2026 budget, we have a huge timeline for that as well, the budget for that. But also, that's another problem. Because sporting infrastructure also cannot be procured the way we are procuring the other buildings. There's a special nature of sports and everything. So we are also having conversation with the due process office to be able to draft a new process for approving sporting infrastructure construction and stuff like that, so that we can make it faster and what have you. Last year, we couldn't get the due process to proceed with the stadium we want to do until around November or thereabout. And now it has to come through 2026. So hopefully this year we want to make sure we get Abuja going. At least Kaduna is supposed to be finished within the year. The partnership we are doing with the Kaduna State government. Ibadan, they want to also get working this year. Lagos will start as well. So hopefully, at least by this year, we'll get Abuja back on track. And then all the other ones we are working on should be work in progress. The one we want to fix also, we should get them fixed. So hopefully, before the year runs out, we should have at least another up to 3-4 stadia that we can add to our pool from what we have at the moment. That are certified and competent to host all the FIFA competitions as well.
But as it stands right now, quickly, the FIFA compliance stadiums in Nigeria, is that the Godzilla Akpabio Stadium and Abuja, just two?
Yeah.
And we have over 50 spread across the country. And what's more, there are even there are stadiums being built currently from Bayelsa to Ebonyi here and there. But we have just two that are FIFA compliant.
Yeah, but let me clarify this. The compliance, it's not like the stadium is bad per se. No, there are certain things that you need to put within the stadium. Like I explained earlier, that you need to be put in place. Not just the stadium are bad per se. No, you need to put the right pitch. You need to put the right dressing room. Must be furnished the right way. Doping room, testing rooms, the warm-up areas, the benches, the media facilities, the VIP facilities, the entrances, the everything. So those are they look small, but they're very, very critical because FIFA, you can see. You can go to a stadium in Nigeria, for example, where you have like 25,000-30,000 people going to the stadium, but they're using one entrance. How is that possible? So all these things need to be broken and changed to make sure that we have the proper stadium to do that. But at least we have the infrastructure. But most of them, I think that they look like a parade ground, to be honest. So we need to change them. You can't have stadia at this level that are not covered. Nobody wants to take his son or child to go to the stadium under the sun and stuff like that to do that. So we all have to work to do that. And I can tell you, I've received a lot of commitment from the state governments, from Plateau to Koyi to Katsina to Kano, all the governors from. I had a conversation with Fubara on the plane, and the moment he went back to the state, he started now demolishing Yakubu Gowon Stadium to fix it the right way. So all the governors are working on that. Even Lagos State government, for example, are willing to come to play into the national stadium to do that. So with the way we are going, very soon all this deficit will be corrected, and we will be in play that we have the best stadiums that we can be proud of.
All right. And so in the next quarter, we're going to have you back on the program and hold you by your word on the deliverables of this sustainability plan with a check on how a good number of stadia, across the country are doing. So we must anchor at this point, and thank you very much for coming on the program. We've been talking with the chairman of the Nigeria Sports Commission, Mr. Shehu Dikko. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.